All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to Conflict Radio. Today is January 13th, 2022, and today on the show we're going to be talking about reverse speech in the subconscious mind. We're also going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Australia, kind of a geopolitical conversation, just a little bit of one, not too much, but we are going to go there. Let me give a shout out to everybody that's hanging out and waiting for the show. Looks like some of you guys have been in here a long time. I see Sapphire Elf, Catherine Genorio, Dr. Strangelove is here, the Happy Plague Doctor from Nebraska, Davy Jones Locker. He wants to know how Bigfoot has anything to do with any of this, and hopefully we'll find out. I see Stefan Godsta is here. Sparno Negative, he gave me a super chat earlier on, I guess about 10-15 minutes ago. So thank you, Sparno Negative, for that. Let's see. Not Quite Human is here. I see the druid. Let's see who else is here. AB is here. How you doing, AB? Sup and Stuff. Phoenix Fire. And Hugo Darn. So welcome to Conflict Radio, everybody. All right. So I also see putting in here Sapphire Sun. Don says hello, and Big D says hi. So how you guys doing? All right. So today on the show, we've got David John Oates. He was born in rural Australia on October 30th, 1955. The firstborn son of a young Methodist minister, he spent his early days traveling with his family from church to church and fiddling with his hobby, electronics. By his mid-20s, David had devoted his full-time attention to his youth work. It was while running a halfway house for street kids in 1984 that he first heard about the backward messages in rock and roll, and a new hobby was born, playing tapes backwards. He rapidly became obsessed with this new hobby, and by 1987, he had developed his theory of reverse speech. David, thanks for coming to Conflict Radio, man. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me. Yes.
Man, it's great to have you on. You know, it's amazing how we can have this conversation it's like light speed speech. Like you're all the way on the other side of the planet.
I certainly am. Yeah, well, with modern technology, there's no such thing as country boundaries anymore, are there?
Well, yeah, I guess there's no such thing either, but I don't think it's technology's fault. Probably our elected politicians. Hopefully, boundaries are always nice. I see Mary Kay popped in here. She says hi to everybody. And so let's talk about this a little bit. Reverse speech and the subconscious mind. So basically what you're doing is that, I mean, honestly, you could take a recording of me and you talking right now, of you and I having this conversation, play it backwards, and we'll listen to see what we happen to say backwards. And you're saying it has to do with our subconscious mind?
Yes, exactly right. Yeah. Well, I started my research back in '84 looking at messages in rock and roll. There was a big controversy back then about satanic messages in rock and roll. If you play records backwards, you could hear these eerie messages. So I heard about that in '84, and I was a little bit curious. I started researching it just out of interest more than anything else, and I found these phrases, and I was a little bit surprised. I've got an electronics audio background. I'm a ham radio operator, pretty familiar with audio signals, and the phrases were there. The tapes hadn't been altered or manipulated. That was the first thing I looked at, and I was curious, how on earth are they getting there? And then in '87, I started a full-time research project specifically to get to the bottom of what these backward messages were all about. Fundamentalists claimed they were satanic. I was finding a lot of messages that weren't considered satanic, but just normal everyday stuff. Then I accidentally stumbled across it in normal human speech. And until I'd done my work, I'm not aware that anyone had ever looked at human speech. And and I found these messages all throughout human speech, about once every 10 or 15 seconds. As you played recordings backwards, you would hear this very clear phrase amongst the gibberish that, as my research progressed, I discovered that is what we are thinking and feeling at the time of speaking. Now, let me play you an example. The very first example I heard on speech. Okay,
All right.
This is Neil Armstrong walking on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I found this one in, I think, February of '87, and he says in reverse, "Man will spacewalk."
Man will spacewalk. Man will spacewalk.
And that's the first one I ever heard in speech. And I go, oh my God, what on earth is that? Then the same day, I'll play the second one I heard. And then I'll get onto my theory as to what all this means. The second one I heard was on a live commentary of the JFK assassination, which I can't find at the top of my head. Okay, well, we'll find it in a sec. So once I'd found these backward messages all throughout speech, I wrote my theory in April of '87. And I basically claim that the process of spoken communication is twofold. As the human brain is constructing the sounds of speech, it is putting those sounds together in such a way that we are communicating two messages at once. One is forward from the conscious mind, and the other is in reverse from the unconscious. Now, here's that JFK example. Listen to this. This is the second one I heard. Once again, beginning of '87.
Just a moment, please. Something has happened in the motorcade route. Stand by, please. Parkland Hospital, there has been a shooting. Parkland Hospital has been advised to stand by for a severe gunshot wound. The president's car is now going past me. The limousine is now traveling at a very high rate of speed.
And we run it backwards, and he says he's shot bad. Hold it. Try and look up.
He's shot bad. Hold it. Try and look up.
And again.
He's shot bad. Hold it. Try and look up.
And that's straight backwards. 3 sentences strung together. Obviously, what he would have been thinking at the time. He shot bad. Stop everything. Look around. Try and look up. So, yeah. So they were my first two examples, and that propelled me into a whole new career. I wrote my theory. I had my book published in '87. I got a lot of media coverage in Australia at the time. That led me to being asked to the United States on a lecture tour, which I did. Then in '89, I moved to America to live, where I lived for 10 years, traveling and lecturing and teaching and doing radio and TV shows and all that very exciting stuff. And now I'm back in Australia. I've been here for 20 years now. I live in Adelaide, for those of you who are in Australia. And I am presenting this whole new theory of language, who we are, what we are thinking, what we are feeling, both on a conscious as well as an unconscious level, appears backwards in our speech. This is a natural form of communication. It's not caused by demons or angels or ETs, or I've heard so many theories over the years. It simply is what we are thinking and feeling on an unconscious as well as a conscious level.
All right. So let me ask you this, okay? What would you say to people who are saying that playing things in reverse, if you hear something, is just a coincidence? What makes you think it's actually the subconscious mind that's putting it out there? I mean, could it not be just a coincidence?
Well, for start, these backward phrases occurring once every 10 or 15 seconds of speech. They're occurring in grammatically correct sentences that have a direct connection to the forward dialogue. That's the most of the objections that the critics put up to me. No one denies you can hear the phrases. I mean, even the skeptics say, yes, we can hear them. But the argument is it's coincidence. Well, I don't know what the odds are of hearing moonwalk on Neil Armstrong walking on the moon, or hearing he shot bad, hold it, try and look up on JFK assassination. I mean, you've got this direct connection. How can that possibly be coincidence? How can you get grammatically correct sentences occurring once every 10 or 15 seconds that are directly connected to the forward dialogue for them to be coincidence? I mean, I've got over 1 million reversals in my computer. If someone can tell me that's all coincidence, I wish you luck.
All right. Have you ever heard somebody, like, say somebody was talking English and you played it backwards? Do you sometimes hear maybe French or Spanish or another language coming back?
Okay, well, I only speak English, So if there was another language there, I wouldn't recognize it. However, that being said, I have trained students who are bilingual, German, Spanish, and French, are the three I can think of at the top of my head. And when they have been analysing their own language, they will find reversals in German or French or whatever language being spoken at the time. I'm not aware of other languages appearing in an English-speaking person. But like I said, I only speak English, so I can't address that question. I would be surprised if other languages occurred in an English only speaking person.
All right. Well, let's go with some more examples. Do you have any? I guess let's talk. Bob Lazar. He's one, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah, he's my latest one I'm looking at. I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube of various people from various areas, and so let's go with Bob Lazar. Here he is on the Art Bell show, talking about his experiences allegedly with Area 51, and I'll just play a simple one to start off with. And here is the forward dialogue.
The other mode is the delta configuration, and this is how it normally travels through space and makes large jumps.
And here he says backwards, I'll scam it.
I'll scam it.
I'll scam it. I'll scam it.
Okay, so that would appear to be a lie. And then here's another one.
You know, it's 10 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. Does that sound familiar to you?
It does.
That before.
It does.
I've signed something like that before, but this was certainly far above and beyond that, which was kind of shocking, actually.
And backwards, with me are CIA.
But now, yeah.
The A is a little bit short on that one. Sorry about that. So that would imply that there are CIA with him as he tells his story. He's being interviewed on the Art Bell show, and here's another reversal about Art Bell.
I don't remember the people involved there, but when they were talking about the movie, the making of the movie, so on and so forth, the lab technician there.
Mission Get Bell.
Mission Get Bell.
Mission Get Bell. Mission Get Bell.
In other words, his mission is to get Bell and convince Art Bell that he is telling a true story. But his reversals seem to imply that that's not the case. And here he is at the end of the interview.
Perhaps not before you fell asleep, but
well, we did make some coffee here. I detected I started rambling and not saying anything, so hopefully this.
And here he says, he bought the scam. Did you well?
Are you fucking with scam? Did you well?
Are you fucking with scam? Did you well? Are you fucking with scam? Did you well?
In other words, he bought the lie, the scam that he was preparing, and he did you well. He did a good job. So, according to the reversals of Bob, of course, I got many more. I'm just played three of them.
Yeah.
So they would seem to suggest that he's not telling a true story.
Do you have any of Art Bell just by himself?
Oh, well, not from this interview.
Yeah. I mean, from whenever.
Oh, gee, the ones I got on Art Bell will get me into trouble. Okay, let me see.
Well, come on, we won't yell at you.
Okay, let me see what I can pull up real quick. Just hang on one second. I've got to go and find my Art Bell file.
All right. So while you hunt for that, I'll give a shout out here to everybody that's kind of hanging out. I see Clifton James Kelly says, Moronacron is loose. Be safe, y'all. So if there is another I guess mutation out there, everybody should watch out, right? I mean, Moronacron sounds pretty scary. Mary asked a question, please, not me. All right, so they're talking about an app you can download that you can do reverse speech on. So maybe that's something you need to look into.
Yeah, that's my app. I reverse speech. You can get it for. You can get it for Android or the regular phone, whatever they call that again.
All right.
Gee whiz, I am at a loss to know where my art bell reversals are. I've got.
Oh, you don't want to do it, do you?
No, I do want to do it. No, I totally do. I'm just trying to find the video. I've got art bell guests. I got Victor. I got Bob Lazar. Where's all my art bell?
Oh, you weren't expecting that question, were you?
No, I wasn't actually. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Right. This is Art Bell talking about the death of his wife Ramona. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So let's. I got about 6 reversals, I think. So we're just coming up to the first one now.
You know, you hear people use the phrase soulmate. You hear people bandy the phrase soulmate around. Well, let me tell you.
And here he says, damn myself.
Myself.
I don't know what it means by damn myself, but let's continue on. And
right.
we'll get to the
Bless
bottom
you,
line
Julie.
here.
Wrote to Ramona, and I'm just going to read about a sentence of this because it's really all that's relevant. It says, "Where's my little girl?" You know, it was an attempt to sort of patch things up.
And here he says in reverse, see the mess that I blew.
I'll
see this mess that I blew. But what it means by mess that I blew, I don't know. But let me go and play the coup de grace. Okay, and let's go back a little bit. Okay, here's the coup de grace.
We loved Paris. We loved traveling. We loved the RV, you know.
And backwards he says, cold with you, murder. That's a pretty ominous reversal, I'm sure you would agree. And see the mess that I blew, that I created. So there you go. That's
so if you were to, I mean, that's interesting. Is that all you got?
No, I got more. No, I got a lot of them.
Sitting with her head back on the couch, as though she was asleep. By the way, not.
Here he says, her held up abuse. And we'll go on to the next one.
Ask me a question. Remember to ask me a question a year from now. Do you remember my saying that?
He's talking about his new wife.
Well, as it turns out,
and backwards he says, her memory, I'm free.
Well, as it turns out, her memory, I'm free.
So
her memory, he says, her memory, I'm free.
Yes, I'm free.
Talking about his new wife.
Talking about his ex-wife, her memory.
Well, yeah, but he's talking about his new wife.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. He's talking about his new wife.
Interesting. I think that's the best one.
Yeah, and he's thinking back. Well, I'm free now. Okay, so he's free to get married again.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah. So there's a few on Art Bell.
All right, let me ask you this: Do you have any like on politicians?
Sure.
Like recent stuff since 2020, say, or you know.
Sure. Okay, let me go to my 2021 files. While
you look at that, Stefan says miss him, and I couldn't agree more. Art Bell was it was a pure joy to listen to every night. Seriously, I would. If there was a way to, I guess, listen to a show of his that maybe he did that was never broadcast yet, and I had to go to the theater and pay good money to watch it or listen to it, I certainly would. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, here's some on Biden talking about COVID. Okay?
All right.
This is from December. December last year.
K through 12 schools should be open. And that safety is increased if schools require all adults who work in the schools to get vaccinated and take the safety measure that the CDC is recommending, including masking.
And here he says, have the biggest hoax.
Have the biggest hoax.
Not the biggest hoax, have biggest hoax.
Catholic schools.
So there you go. That would imply that the cure is a hoax. Then here he is telling everyone to get the cure over and over again.
It may be deadlier than the ones that have come before. Let me say again and again and again and again, please get vaccinated. It's the only responsible thing to do.
So what does Biden say practically every speech he goes public with? What does he say over and over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Okay, well, here's a reversal on that. He says, nagging it, nagging it, nagging it, nag.
Nagging it, nagging it, nagging it, nagging. Nagging it, nagging it, nagging it, nagging.
So he's nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging. So that's a bit of a funny one. So, I mean, he's got there's so many of them. Here's another one on Biden.
And I've been doing this kind of thing. I've been doing this my whole life.
He says, "I'll be a moron." I'll be a moron. Oh, let me find the classic one where he stumbles over his speech. I've just got a classic one. If I can just find it at the top of my head, and no, I can't see it at the top of my head. That's a shame. Anyway, doesn't matter.
All right. Well, who else you got? You got any Trump ones?
Oh, I got lots of Trump. Sure. You know, I got Trump. I got Fauci. I mean, we can go wherever you want to go.
All right. Well, I mean, if we do any of the Mr. T ones, we might get pulled down. So let's do Fauci.
Let's do. You might get pulled down on Fauci too.
That's true. Well, yeah, but at least the algorithm might doesn't always strike his speech, right?
Okay. All right. Here's Fauci talking about the cure.
All right.
That the federal government had been involved in the development and or facilitation of 3 separate platforms of vaccines. One was the mRNA, the other were vector, either an adenovector or a chimp vector, and the other was the soluble recombinant proteins.
And he says, then they mark you, all be lost.
Then they mark you, all be lost.
Implying that in some way the vaccine is leading up to the mark, whatever the mark is.
The cure.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's
the
all right.
cure. You're absolutely right. All right. Let me play the one.
Let's do some Mr. T.
Mr. T. Okay, all right. Just let me play one.
Just a couple.
More. Okay, all right. I'm just trying to find. All right, Mr. T. Okay, we'll go to Mr. T. I've literally got millions of reversals in my computer, and it's just a matter of finding it.
I bet.
Okay, here's Trump. Let me see. Which one do I want to play? I've got so many here. Here he is talking about the cure.
They want me to do a commercial saying, take the vaccine.
Well,
And they think that's very important, and I'd certainly do it. But then I call them, I say, let me ask you a question. You just did something. 6 people out of 8 million people, somebody said that Tylenol, women's birth control, will cause far more. 6 people.
And he says the shog, and then the word.
Next show, they say.
The shog makes the word, which implies that it doesn't work. Okay? And then let me go to a reversal from him from 2020, talking about the. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see if I've got the one I'm looking for. No, I can't see it. Well, that's annoying.
Just grab one at random, see what comes up.
Okay. All right. Here's one here at random.
We will continue to reduce taxes and regulations at levels not seen before.
This is in the Republican National Convention.
All right.
And it says, off with his con. Off in his con. No, he's conning. He's telling a story that he wants you to believe, and that's from 2020.
See, you got to admit some of the audio it's not very clear. I mean, it's open to interpretation, really, isn't it?
Some of it is. Yes, I agree with that. Some of it is.
Some of them are pretty clear. Obviously, they are, but then some are kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I agree. Some of them aren't as clear as the others. Yeah, no, that's a true statement. Most of them I find to be particularly clear. Let me see, what else can I pull up here? I'm trying to find the one on Fauci where he talks about the gain of function. If I can find it.
You've got one from Jim Jones too. I see people in the chat are wanting to hear the Jim Jones one.
Oh, Jim Jones. Yeah, I got a lot on Jim Jones.
And Mary Kay's asking about Trudeau.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're getting lots of requests. Yeah, I got Trudeau. I got Jim Jones. Okay, here's Jim Jones. This is the live recording from the actual suicide. It was all recorded, and the one I'm looking for is this one here. Here we go. If it'll play.
Everybody hold it. Stay peace.
And it goes, death, you death, you death, you death. Gets ass.
Yes.
Here he is again. Yeah, I'll play you one of the most creepiest examples I've ever heard in my career. This is actually not a reverse speech as such, but an EVP that occurs right at the very end. It's not in this file. Well, that's pretty strange. Here it is. Okay, so right at the very end of the recording, when everyone's dead, you hear this really eerie music, and there's a voice in the background that's actually backwards. So you'll hear it as gibberish. You hear that voice, growly voice in the background?
Yeah.
It's actually played backwards. Put your headphones on those or turn your volume up. Because in reverse it says, open the door and Mr. Jim Jones, welcome. Listen to this. No, sorry. I'm sorry. Here's the door and Mr. Jim Jones, welcome. Can you hear that, or is that too faint for you?
Yeah, no, I heard it a little bit. Yeah.
I'll play it again. That's one of the creepiest reversals I've ever found. How that got there, I've absolutely no idea. The tape hasn't been doctored or anything like that. There, look, here he is. Here he is preaching in San Francisco before the tragedy.
Building that capitalism is supposed to give, we have not been able to eliminate social disease, not in one city. And it's eliminated according to the report today on the radio.
This might be bad audio. He says, this lonely con.
This lonely con.
This lonely con. This lonely con.
Oh, it's a con. I don't know how you would interpret that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's Jim Jones. Here's one I found on Fauci just this week. Listen to this one.
I don't know of any country right now that, unless there is, one or two exceptions, that are completely locked down. They're making restrictions greater, but not completely locking down.
I think you'd agree this one's fairly clear. We cull, as in C-U-L-L, we cull the youth, we con them.
We call it this Wakanda. We call it this Wakanda. We call it this Wakanda.
Okay, you got that one?
Yeah. It even it sounds like it actually sounds like he's saying Utes, like in that movie with what the hell's the name of that movie? My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, and he's Italian, isn't he?
I believe so.
Fauci's Italian, so that he's saying Utes.
Yeah, well, that would be right. Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, let me see. I really want to find. There's just a great reversal I got on him about gain of function, and I thought it was in this file, and that's very annoying because I can't see it.
All right.
Here he is. Yep. Go ahead.
I guess let's do one more, and then we'll do some of Trudeau.
Trudeau. Yeah. Okay. Let me just change topics altogether, and we'll go to a research project I've just finished on evangelists. And here's an evangelist called Creflo Dollar.
I know you can say the same thing. You're not where you want to be, but thank God you're not what you used to be. And most of that comes because I decided not to just stick with the mechanics of Christianity.
And here he says backwards, but thou get Satan. You know what? That's not very clear at all. I apologize for that one. That one was a bad one. Okay. All right, I got caught out on that one. I apologize.
That's all right.
No, that's okay. Look, I admit that some of this stuff is open to interpretation. I don't deny that, but some of it is so clear that.
Well, it's fascinating stuff. It really is.
Yeah, some of it's so clear it just hits you right between the eyes,
Yeah.
All right, now where's my? You know what? Tell you what's in the news right now? Let me just do this quickly, then we'll go on to Trudeau.
All right.
This is Prince Andrew. Okay, Prince Andrew.
All right, let's keep it clean.
How clean do you want it to be? Okay, so here we go. Here's one of them. He's denying that he was involved in the Vineyard Giuffre sex scandals.
All right.
That you don't recall meeting Virginia Roberts, dining with her, dancing with her at Tramp, or going on to have sex with her in a bedroom in a house in Belgravia.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
And he says backwards, you lusty fraud, you're blanked.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty clear. And listen to this one. Here is this one. This is a confession to putting out a hit on Jeffrey Epstein.
Nobody can prove whether or not that photograph has been doctored, but I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
And backwards he says, Jeff had to get murdered.
Jeff had to murdered.
Oh yeah, you can definitely hear that.
Yeah, that one's as clear as day. Now, I'll play one more. I've got lots on Andrew. I've got dozens and dozens of them on the Vintage Phrase sex scandals. Clearly, he did it. Guilty as sin.
But during these times that he was a guest at Windsor Castle at Sandringham, the shooting weekend, we now know that he was and had been procuring young girls for sex trafficking.
We now know that. At the time, there was no indication to me or anybody else that was what he was doing.
So he's saying he didn't know that's what he was doing, but backwards he says, then I knew.
Then I knew.
So straightforward, blatant lie.
Mm-hmm.
He's as guilty as sin, and
I don't disagree with you. I think they're tricking him to get him to come to New York, because he's going to have to come to New York for that civil trial, and I think when he gets here, they're going to nab him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, here's some on Trudeau. Here we let's run this one.
That's why it's also vital that we all work together to strengthen respect for international law, reaffirm our collective commitment to human rights, and stand up for people who face persecution abroad.
This is at a World Climate Conference, but backwards it says, "We make it pandemic." Now that implies that the pandemic has been somehow manufactured. Let me see. Where's all my other Trudeau reversals? QRST Trudeau. Here we go. Here's one here.
And even though I know parents are all going to be eager to get their kids vaccinated as quickly and as soon as possible, I want people to be patient because Health Canada is going to be taking the time necessary.
Here he says, the noose in it. Not as clear as some of the others, but in other words, there's a problem with it. Okay, there's a problem. Yeah. It's damaging. Here's another one.
One of our priorities in Afghanistan has always been the safety of women and girls. This is something I've discussed a number of times with Minister Mariam Mosef. Mariam is herself an extraordinary woman leader from Afghanistan who understands just how precarious the situation is.
This one's a bit ominous. Gonna force her Satan.
Gonna force her Satan.
Gonna force her Satan. Gonna force her Satan.
There you go. That's it. Gets a little bit ominous, doesn't it? So, yeah. So that's a couple on Trudeau.
All right. Do you have anybody from the leaders of Australia?
Oh, sure. I got Scott Morrison.
I've got a lot of Australian listeners. Probably love to hear some of those guys.
I've actually got quite a few from Australia. Scott Morrison and Daniel Andrews and Gladys Berejiklian. Here's a really strange one that I still don't understand, but it's very clear. He's talking about the pandemic.
Now, the good news is a month on from that, as we've gone through, whether it's what we've seen there or Victoria or New South Wales or other places, that hope was confirmed, and that gives us a lot more confidence, even more than we had at that point.
Don't know what this one means. We planned the nerve mixer.
And the nerve mixer.
And the nerve mixer. And the nerve mixer.
I suspect it's got something to do with all the nervous tension that Australia has been going through since the pandemic. Okay, here Australians will like this one on Scott Morrison.
That can impact on logistics and how markets operate and how the employment sector can continue to grow and what maximises the least disruption to that.
Here he says, "I'm a scammer."
I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
Yeah, it just speaks for itself, doesn't it? Here we go. Here we got Satan again.
That said, of course, we continue to act on the recommendation of Jane Holton in relation to other facilities, which was the Howard Springs facility, which is what the former Secretary Holton had recommended.
See the Lucifer.
See the Lucifer.
See the Lucifer. See the Lucifer.
There's all this satanic agenda for this whole virus that I just really don't understand. It's I find all these reversals.
All right, well let's go there a little bit. Do you think that we're in a good versus evil war right now?
Oh, absolutely, no doubt in my mind about that. Yeah. There's a lot more to the pandemic than meets the eye. We are literally fighting for the soul of our planet. It is my honest opinion.
All right. Let me ask you this. You know how Biden sometimes he goes on these crazy rants where he doesn't really make any sense?
Yep.
Have you played any of those backwards to see if it makes sense backwards?
I certainly have. There was one I was trying to find earlier on Biden. Let me just see if I can.
Because there's sometimes he'll just go off for like a minute and he's not making any sense at all.
Not making absolutely no sense whatsoever. I've got a really funny one on him. I don't know whether it's in order. Oh dear. Where is it? I can't see it. It's one where he's just going off on crazy stuff, and he says backwards, "Have I lost it?" It's clear as day, and I'll be bothered if I can see it right now.
All right.
Yeah, I got hundreds, so many reversals.
Also, we have a. Let me ask you this before we get on to this. Do you know who Corn Pop is?
No.
You don't know who Corn Pop is? Corn Pop's a bad dude?
No, I don't know Corn Pop. No.
All right. Well, Joe Biden goes on this speech where he's talking about Corn Pop and how Corn Pop is a bad dude. The guys in the chat want to know if you could do that and then maybe come back. Like, we'll get you on again in the future.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And
okay.
maybe you can actually do this show as well, and then we can revisit this show and see if we have said anything backwards.
Yeah, we can do that. Sure. Hey, here's a funny one on Biden I just saw. I'm looking for the main one.
Here he is.
Not only a real soldier, but he has stood up and stuck up for me.
He says, "I am a blank up."
I am reflected.
I am reflected. I am reflected.
That just speaks for itself.
Do you have any? Do you have any with Premier Gunner?
Dunner.
Premier Gunner. NT Premier Gunner.
Oh no, I do not. No, I do not. No, I do not. No.
All right.
No. I am so frustrated. I can't find that reversal. How annoying. Here's it. Here, listen to this one. Talking about the pandemic. This is just one I just saw.
One of the great gifts of the spirit of independence. And think about this. One of the great gifts is our capacity to see ourselves whole and see ourselves honestly.
And he says, "You're not safe, Armageddon."
Armageddon.
Implying that there is some big war of some description coming up. Of course, I've got my own thoughts on that, which we won't go into today because it'll take too long. But as to what's really going on with this whole virus and what its whole purpose is, I'd have to do a whole show on that and to get all my reversals in order to play them. But here's another one on Biden.
We achieved those objectives. That's why we went. We did not go to Afghanistan to nation build.
And here it goes. A con led you?
Yeah,
well, that just speaks for itself, doesn't it? That one was fairly clear.
All right. Dr. Strangelove wants to know if you have any Santos Bonacci.
Sorry, if I have who?
Santos Bonacci or?
Don't know the name, so no, I haven't.
Okay. I might not be saying that right, of course.
Yeah. No, I don't know the name. Sorry. No.
How about Obama?
Oh, yeah. Where do I go with Obama? Let me find some of his latest ones. I got to think what file I've got them in now. Obama, I'll have to go back for the years. I got some latest ones on him, which at the top of my head, where was them? That was, I got some actually rather damning ones on Obama. You know what I'll do? Let me go to my,
if it's not YouTube friendly, let's not do it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, it's YouTube friendly. Let me just go to my Obama YouTube video, and I may be able to get some easier ones off of that one. Obama. Okay, I don't know how old this one is. Okay, let's run this forward.
To children in need. That's why we made the tax system right here in Springfield more fair and just for working families.
And here he says, "This has to damn you."
This has to damn me. This has to damn me. This has to damn me.
Talking about making tax systems fair.
First,
here's another
we will
one.
conduct a systematic campaign of airstrikes against these terrorists.
And here he says in reverse, but I'm a sissy.
But I'm a sissy. But I'm a sissy. But I'm a sissy.
I guess he didn't conduct air.
It's time to stand up and reach for what's possible. Because together, people who love their country can change it.
And here he says, but you blanket up, but you blanket up. There you go. I'm sure you agree all those are fairly clear. So yeah, there's a couple on Obama.
All right. You got any Julian Assange?
Yes, I do. I do indeed. Let me just pull them up. Boy, you're really asking me to scrape the bottom of my files here, aren't you? Now I just got to find my Assange file.
I'm just looking at the suggestions from the listener.
Oh right, yeah. I'm trying to think what year I did that in. I have all my reversals filed in year order, going right back to 1987, if you can believe. Assange, here we go. Right. Okay, where do I go? We'll start off with this one. Here is the forwards.
How big a role do you feel WikiLeaks had in the outcome of the election? You didn't think Donald Trump was going to win.
I didn't think Donald Trump would win. I thought the establishment, for want of a better word, would see Hillary Clinton losing, and then would pile in more money and more energy, and various TV networks are on her side.
He says, evil, the fraud with media.
There we
go. He obviously doesn't believe the media. Here he is on the charges in Sweden, I believe, or Switzerland. No, Sweden, Norway. I can't remember. One of those Scandinavian countries.
Corruption that's impacting the lives of people, not superfluous, scandalous lives of big stars.
Yeah, well, we don't publish. We don't publish it. I think.
Let me ask this.
He goes, "Feel lover, my Prada was naughty." And again,
yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm sorry, what's that?
That's a tough one to hear.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Bit quick, I guess. Okay. Well, here's a quick one. I haven't listened to these reversals for years. I'm just pulling them out of my files.
Constrain whether it was someone inside the United States, in the DNC, in the service providers that provide for the DNC, or outside, etc. I think we have already pushed it quite a lot.
More than you would like.
More than we would like by saying it's not a state party.
And here he says, just get our file.
Let's get our style.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get our style.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's get our style.
That one's nice and clear. Okay. Pulling out his files to release to go public, which of course he can't do now because he's incarcerated. So, okay, so that's Julian Assange. What other requests do you have?
Vash Wolford says, do you have any Bible passages or readings that are interesting? Can be positive, not just negative.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look, bit of a fallacy going on about there. That if you read the Bible out, you'll get what it really means. Unfortunately, if you read the Bible into recording, you're not going to get reversals of the Bible. You're going to get your opinion of what you are reading, if you know what I mean. So you're not going to get, this is what that passage means. You're going to get the person who's reading it, their own opinion of what.
So it's different for everybody. If you have 20 people read the same thing, the backwards speech will be different for everybody.
Yes, it will. Yes.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's got to do with the way you say the speech, not the words themselves. So I often do this in my training classes. We'll have people say the same sentence into a recorder, and we'll run it back. And I look, a classic one I use is, I love my mother very much. She's very supportive to me and helps me in all things. So I get people to read that sentence out in class, and we run it back, and it'll be completely different depending on the person's relationship with their mother. Okay, so it's got very little to do with the words, but the sounds of speech. Okay, so you want some Bible verses? Here is Jim Bakker in one of his TV shows.
Amen. Paul, it's so great to have you with us today. And I understand that Dr. Irvin Baxter was a spiritual mentor to you. He really is.
And here he says, Satan's your worst scab.
Satan's your worst scab.
Satan's your worst scab. Satan's your worst scab.
So why is Satan appearing in his reversals? And then he has this one.
Amen. You need to pray for the preachers. You need to pray for them because there's warfare. And greater is he that's in us than he's in the world. Amen. And we can stop this warfare.
Here he says, and the sun is the beast.
And the sun is the beast.
And the sun is the beast. And the sun is the beast.
Which is straightforward blasphemy. And I've actually just finished a year's research into religion, the Catholic, Protestant, Pentecostal, fundamentalists. I'm about to write my next book, which is book number 10. And it's called The Great Spiritual Darkness. And the basic claim of the book is that the church, the modern church, is totally not following the teachings of Jesus. The Antichrist spirit lives in the heart of religious teachers, and most of their reversals are all about Satan and worshipping Satan, which is very, very concerning. Okay,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. When's that coming out?
Probably in about 3 months. I finished my research. I spent a year researching it. I finished that. And now I've got to write the book. It's only going to take me 3 or 4 weeks to write the book, and then it'll be out probably April, I would say. So, and I released a book last year called The Big Con, which is all about the virus and the cure and the truth behind it. So all of these books can be purchased from my website, reversespeech.com. You'll see my publisher's address on the just down the bottom of the page where you can get all my books. And I've just started research this week for my latest book, which will be all about UFOs. So I've just started that research now. So it'll take me about a year before I'm ready to publish that one. Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do you have any people in the UFO field, in the paranormal field, like Stephen Greer? Have you done any of his stuff? Or
Stephen Greer, I just started on last night. Let me see what I've got on him.
Did you find any?
Yes, I did. Just started on him last night. So I'm still. It's still the jury's out as to what it all is. But okay, here's a strange one. I don't know what this means, but I'll play it.
To falsely disclose this subject in a way that would present it as a threat to the national security. And in fact, all of that has come to pass. If you look at what was released in late June, if you look at what's been coming out over the last year or two.
I seal her soul with killing Fatima. I have absolutely no idea what that means. I'll work it out when I have all these reversals together. Let me see. Here's the one. I'm seeing another one.
And I was raised a very devout atheist. We didn't believe in anything. I always say a devout atheist. My parents. If you can't put it, if you couldn't put it in a test tube, it didn't exist.
There goes that little fake. But like I say, I haven't done enough reversals on him yet to come up to a conclusion. You know.
All right.
Just started him last night, actually. Oh yeah.
All right. Mary Kay wants to know, what is creating the reverse speech for these puppets?
Oh, that's the very most important question you could possibly ask. Back when I first started doing reverse speech, I claimed it was a voice of the unconscious. Okay, it's another function of language. All of us are speaking forwards and backwards. It's a previously undiscovered human sense. But what is actually speaking? It's taken me about 30 years to answer that question, if you can believe that. And my answer is very simply, it is the spirit speaking. It is the human spirit speaking, commenting on matters of our thoughts, our actions, our spirituality. Reverse speech describes itself as the voice of the spirit. Actually, let me play a reversal that illustrates this. This is on me, and I'm actually talking about what reverse speech talks about. And so here it is here. Okay, this answers the question. What is speaking in reverse? So here's the
Sometimes
forwards.
people ask me, does reverse speech endorse any particular religion? And the answer to that is no. There are no deities or religions that reverse speech endorses or says this is right or this is wrong. It just talks about the soul and the endlessness of life. And that in itself is very powerful.
Indeed. And backwards, I say, it's the voice in heaven.
This is the voice in heaven. This is the voice in heaven. This is the voice in heaven.
So reverse speech is the voice in heaven. It fulfills many biblical prophecies. In the last days, every secret hidden in the hearts of man will be shouted from the rooftops. I think reverse speech is here to do that exact thing. Book of Revelation talks about the book to be unsealed in the last days. I believe reverse speech is that book because at its deepest level, it taps into spiritual wisdom and mysteries. And look, I've just played the surface level tonight. This is just conscious thought. That's all I've done on your show now. But when you get down to the deeper level, reverse speech talks about God and creation, the law of love, how the universe works and functions, how to travel faster than the speed of light. All of these secrets are in reverse speech. It taps into what is commonly known as the collective unconscious or the Akashic records. It goes by many different names. And it is that look into the real spiritual self that exists inside of us. It's the voice in heaven.
All right. Let me throw this out there for everybody because we're getting to the point where it's going to be listeners' questions soon. Now, you and I talked about listening to this show in reverse and you analyzing this show in reverse. And what I would like to do is open up the phone lines for everybody. And if you want to call in, ask a question, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, let's say we ask you how you... No, I don't want to ask that. Let's ask, how was your childhood growing up? Okay, so if you want to call in and just answer, how was your childhood growing up, and then ask your question, David will analyze your talking to us, and then next time we have him on in a month or so, whenever he's finished, we'll see what you guys say. If you want to, if you don't want to, don't call into the show today. Okay.
I always have
yeah, you're breaking up.
1, 2. Okay, I always have a standard warning when I do public reversals, and that is if you've got anything you don't want to be revealed, don't speak. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's. If you don't want to call in, then go ahead and ask your question in the chat box. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. I'm going to throw in the call box here. We are also on Skype. You can find Conflict Radio on Skype and send a connection request. I'll accept it, and you can call in that way. Otherwise, the number is 256-850-4513. So it's kind of my generic little toss-up there I'll throw. Question, HAK wants to know, has reverse speech predicted anything significant?
Oh, yeah. Quite a few things. Well, for a start, here we go back. Wow. For a start, I predicted the virus coming before that became. I found the verses in 2019 about that. Wait.
All right. Welcome to Conflict Radio. You're on the air. We're going to have to get back to that, I guess. David.
Hey, what's up, man?
Caller, where are you calling from? What's your name?
I'm the Happy Plague Doctor. I am from Nebraska, of course.
All right, Happy Plague Doctor. So do tell us before we get to your questions, how was your childhood growing up?
My childhood was about as perfect as a childhood could be. Small town America, growing up in the 80s, free as birds, canyons right behind my house, playing. I mean, it was really great. Good family, good friends. I mean, it's about as good as you could ask for.
Good on you, mate. You're lucky man. I'm the same. I had a great childhood.
All right. So everybody's saying that your mic is echoing, David. So let me, I'm just going to remove you for a second and then I'm going to add you back. Sometimes that helps.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're back. You're back now.
1, 2. No, it's still going. Yeah.
All right. Well, it could be, and maybe it's because I got Skype open or something. I guess we'll just have to deal with it. Sometimes it's just the way it is. I guess if it's too bad for you, turn us off and come back another time. All right, Happy, you got a question for David?
Well, kind of, I guess. I didn't really know what this show was going to be about at first. But, man, I won't even ask it. It's about, most people don't have a, like a, what do I want to call it? Like they don't have an education in physics or anything like that, but you know how to throw a ball into a trash can or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Without any like formalized education in like physics or anything like that, you know how things work. Your mind is always making those calculations. I don't know if it's anywhere related or not. That was just something I was thinking about earlier.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. But as far as the backmasking and stuff like that, I don't know how much I really, can get into it. But
you're just calling in to have your voice reversed, man.
Just saying. Yeah, sure. Actually, that's actually the truth, dude. I'd like to hear my voice reversed.
All right, awesome, and we'll definitely. I hope
and
you.
I always enjoy these shows, anyways. So
yeah, it is a good time, man. I just think that boy, that's something that nobody's done before, right? Go ahead and call in, and we'll reverse your voice next time.
All right,
man.
All right, guys, I'm gonna punch out.
All right, man. Talk to you later, buddy.
All right, later.
All right, so that was Happy Plague Doctor. So it's pretty cool. He says the Dr. Strangelove says Philadelphia experiment was reverse speech.
Okay.
What do you think about that? Have you done any? Somebody else is calling in. Conflict Radio, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, you're gonna have to mute us or something. You there?
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hi, Michael.
Yes.
I can barely hear you. I don't know why.
Oh, well, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, it's Mary Kay calling from Alberta.
How you doing, Mary?
I'm doing really good.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up, Mary?
I had a really good childhood. We had a block full of kids. All of us were from different backgrounds, different nationalities. And my fondest memory is playing peewee football on the street in the summer till it got dark. And in Calgary, it usually didn't get dark till about 10:30 or 11 in the summer.
All right. Do you have a question for David Oates tonight?
I do, yes. Has he heard anything in any of his reverse speech lately that would indicate when this problem was going to end?
No, everything I've heard says it's going to escalate and get even worse.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think so too, Mary.
I wish I could tell you something different. I'm actually a very positive guy and believe in the hope and potential of the human race. But what I've been finding in the last couple of years about the virus and the pandemic is very discouraging.
Oh, that's a shame.
All right.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
All right, Mary. Thanks for calling in.
Great shows.
All right. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
All right, David, is there anything you can do to kill that echo, or where could it possibly be coming from?
No, it's not coming from my end. It's coming from Skype. I get that occasionally in calls. It's not my end. I know. I've had this.
So that
before.
totally sucks.
Yeah. I could disconnect and try and reconnect if you want me to try that.
Huh? No, because I can remove you and then add you, and if that doesn't help, it's not going to really matter. I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe if you're not talking, if maybe you could mute it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, here's the truth. Don't know whether it's going to work. Predicting a future because we've got so much to go. All right, this is JFK is in Hawkwood Tricks.
Undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed, and to which we are committed today at home and around the world.
And this reversal says head is hitting the car. Stop. Okay.
All right. Hang on, caller. Hang on a second. Go ahead, David.
Head is hitting the car.
Head is hitting the car. Head is hitting the car.
Because we all know what happened to JFK, killed with a headshot. So that is him in 1961 predicting his own death in 63.
All right. Sapphire, your audio, man, it sure does have a lot of static in it. How you doing today?
Yeah, good, dude. How's yourselves?
Oh, not too bad. It sounds pretty good. You want to tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Oh, sure. Okay. Grew up in rural Australia, I guess. Your parents were a bunch of hippies. I grew up doing yoga and Tai Chi and meditation and all that sort of stuff. I used to see fairies in the woods and all this weird stuff. I don't know, pretty chilled out kind of regular Aussie, I guess.
All right. Do you have a question for David?
Not really. I just find the whole subject fascinating, and as a, what would you call it, an interested skeptic, it's quite compelling.
All right.
Nothing wrong with being skeptic. I think you need to check things out thoroughly. Look, it took me probably 20 years to fully believe in this. It's a long time. I mean, it's a huge thing to put your head around, and it took me a long time to fully believe in it, and it was after working with it for many years and seeing results that I found coming true. Work with clients, because most of my work is in my own private practice. What I do with public media is just a small part of my work, and I use reverse speech in my therapy practice and just get amazing results with clients. Whole lives changed and turned around. It's just an amazing thing.
All right, Sapphire, I got
along the lines of. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, man.
I just had a thought along the lines of a question Mary asked to what maybe the cause of this, and there was that bit about the word of the divine, and I was thinking maybe truth has some kind of karmic power, and it always needs to come out, whether for good or bad.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you go and let him answer off the air because you're staticky really bad.
Yep, no worries.
All right.
Cheers.
All right, so I'm gonna actually close out Skype and try to reopen it, see if that helps, and then I'm gonna remove you real quick and then add you back and see if that helps. So how you doing there?
Okay.
All right. So I guess you're back. Mary Kay says she's a little nervous about calling in, but don't be nervous, Mary. It's all good. and it seems like it didn't help the audio at all, did it?
1, 2, 3. No, not at all.
Yeah,
No.
that's so weird. We just ruined the audio for the whole show.
I'm sorry.
Well,
about
maybe
that.
there's a way I can I guess if I push this link in the chat box, that'll get you into our StreamYard. Maybe that'll be better than Skype. If anybody wants to hop into the stream, it's audio only. You don't have to worry about your face going up on there, and you can just hit that link and come into the show that way. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up here pretty quick. So let me ask you this: have you done any movies, or I guess like actors?
Not a great deal. No, I actually get asked about that quite a lot, actually. I've got one reversal on Star Wars. Let me see if I can pull that one up real quick. Let me see. Star Wars. Here we go. Right here. Okay, this is from Star Wars.
Obi-Wan once thought as you do. You don't know the power of the dark side.
And backwards, we ask God for the power.
We ask God for the power. We ask God for the power.
So he's right in his role, is how I interpret that. Okay. He's fully immersed in his role, so we get a reversal about his role.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious.
Yeah. So, but no, I haven't done movies. I just got so many things to do. You know, I try to reverse all I can. There's only a handful of reverse speech analysts around the world. Very few people of us doing it, and demand on that time is really quite immense because everyone wants. Look, I probably get a couple dozen requests a week for reversing on certain dates. And there's just no way I can do it all.
Yeah, that really stinks that Skype just ruined our whole audio.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. I mean, I suppose if you want to try backing out and then hit the link and come back in, we could try that.
All right, let me try backing out.
All right. Yeah. And I guess I'll give a shout out to everybody. I do have the Skype back open, but I don't know how that's gonna sound, and I don't see any questions. If you guys have any questions, I guess now would be the time to throw them in there.
I don't even see the link for the. Oh, the echo's gone. Oh no, it hasn't.
You sure it hasn't gone? I haven't heard it.
No,
it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. I can't find the link for the YouTube.
No, not the YouTube, for the StreamYard.
Oh, it's the stream. I see.
Hang on, I'll well, I guess you know what? That's all right. Let's just let's wrap it up. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? And we'll just wrap up early today, and we'll get you rescheduled. And we'll see how the recordings came out. All right?
Yeah. Okay. So you can contact me through my website, reversespeech.com. It's that's my private site, davidoates.com. That's Oates with an E, Oates. My email address and phone numbers are on there. I have a American number, Australian number, and London number. You can ring me on either of those. Looks like that echo's gone as we finish off. So so that's how you can get a hold of me. Very willing to talk. Answer any questions. Yeah. So there you go.
All right. So it'll be pretty interesting once we hear this show reversed. Maybe I'll sound weird backwards or something. I guess we'll find out. And all you folks that called in, we'll see how you guys do. And remember, all of the links for David Oates' websites, his YouTube channel, everything is down in the description box below. Be sure to check it out. Hang on a second, David, and I'll go ahead and close this out. Remember, you can always find us on the internet. Just go to www.conflictradio.net. We are on Rumble. Check out the link below for the Rumble link. We're also on Getter, Twitter, Facebook, and Spreaker, Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, all of your normal podcast catchers. You can pretty much find us anywhere. Just Google Duck. You could duck us over at DuckDuckGo. Just look for Conflict Radio, and find us that way. We will be back on Monday. I'm really excited about Monday. I actually am having a guest on who is an alien human hybrid. So we are going to talk to her because she has some important messages from us, from at least one side of her family. And I'm not going to give the name out on that right away. You guys are going to have to wait till Monday. That's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. Until then, everybody, batten down the hatches and be safe.